Okay, so to start things off, I found out what voting order is. It's the number up here, which means the party chief votes first, etc. down the line. You can pull a 20-sider out. This is the initial setup on the board. What I haven't done yet is I haven't dealt out the intrigue cards, and I haven't figured out where people are going to put their influence. There are options where you can take just 55 points of influence and spread them. I'm not going to play with that. I like the 10-9-8. It makes at least playing solitaire a little easier. I think it actually makes the decisions easier across the board. It gives you less flexibility, and less flexibility means it's easier to make decisions. We have fairly old people in the top ranks here, except for Victor, who is kind of scary. He's probably going to get some serious point drops on him. He's a very interesting character here. He's the youngest character in the game, actually. And what's scary is he's good at the KGB, which means he'll reduce his aging in that position as well. That doesn't matter too much. You're more worried about older people who are good at something. And then down here, we have kind of our second realm. Nobody made it into some place they don't want to be or particularly do want to be. Then we have our candidates. And finally below that, the rest of the characters are in the people section. Now it's time to figure out the votes. And again, this is the hard part in a solo game. I'll dish out the different colors in order to give them positions there. And record that all on paper, what I'm going to actually do with them. I'll be back in a little. After looking at the event cards, and you only get event cards on the point allocation phases, so on turns 3, 6, and 9, where you get 2 points, you can exchange one of those points for an event card draw. You're only allowed 3 event cards total. You know, honestly, they all look like they're pretty useful across the board. You don't really pick your characters based on them terribly much, or at least I don't. So if I were holding event cards, I might. If I were playing, an opposed game, I might let them decide some of my plans. But it seemed like too much work because few of them have any real effect on none of them affect a particular person. They affect, say, a position in the politburo. Like the industry minister, I'll be protected for a turn, or this, that, or the other. There's not a lot of ways of being certain you're going to get in a position. Actually, it's more likely that this is going to choose what your actions are based on the cards, rather than choosing who you pick originally. So it seemed like too much effort. So I spreadsheeted out everything. Now each of these is going to, in a normal game would be secretly held. So where people have put their points initially. And nobody's declaring any right at the beginning. We're going to do it in situ in the game. And there, it becomes kind of a speed thing. So like if 2 people want to declare, I might I'll throw 1 point on Nestor because I have something I want to do in the first round, like maybe go to the sanatorium. Well, although you probably wouldn't put points in Nestor if that's what you want to do. Then somebody else could say, yeah, okay, I'll put 2 on Nestor. I really kind of want him. Now, maybe one of us has our 10 in there, but neither of us really wants to reveal that. Of course, the first person to go to a certain point makes a difference. So let's say you only have 3. Well, instead of putting a 2 there, you might want to put the 3 there. But you might do that to kind of psych people out. And there's just all this weirdness about the bidding, because basically you have already secretly bid on each of these characters. And the revelation of those bids has some effect. But if you reveal that you put your 10 on someone, well, they know it's nowhere else. And they know that's where you're kind of focusing your effort. Anyway, let me take a little break because this took a long time to kind of generate. And then I'll come back. Okay, well, let's kick things off. We're on the cures phase. Sick politburo can take the cure. The only one's Nestor, and nobody's willing to put any of their points and reveal them on Nestor at this point. You want him to be alive, but you also want him to wave. That's one of the reasons you take him, is to wave and to try to set up your position later. So if anybody has any points on him, and some people do, that's why. Now we age the party chief and anyone under investigation. Well, the party chief, Nestor, gets a year. Now it's purge time. KGB. That's Andrei Pergamov. So, again, you're revealing something if you show him at this point. Really tough to make a decision that you want to throw a point in at this point. Somebody does have a point for him. They have a very low bid on him. They may look at running his age out on purges. So we'll see what we get here. No, they're going to hold in secret too, I think. So Andre is not going to purge anyone because he's not under any player's control. Which means we go to the spy investigation. Now that's Victor. This is a very intriguing position to have. Putting people under investigation makes a lot of sense, and he has a lot of youth in his way. A couple of people have bids on him. First, let's see who I give the first choice to. So green, with only one bid on him, a 1 point, is going to have the first option, and he chooses to throw that one bid into play, saying, yeah, I think I'm going to investigate. Now, until that investigation actually takes some role here, other players can outbid. In a sense, he can say, I'm going to investigate this person, and then they can say, oh, no, you're not. So, who does green want to investigate? Well, let's look at the top other people, F and I. He's not really terribly interested in either of them. Putting them under investigation will start aging them. So, I'm going to declare that I'm going to start investigating Andrei Pergamov. What the hell? I'm not interested in him. So now we look at the people with Z's, and do they have points in F? Neither one really cares. So they're going to let Victor raise his age and put a question mark on Andrei. Now the problem with Andrei there, or Andrei, is that I can't immediately bring him to a whatever the word is for it. I can't immediately bring him into a trial. I can only do a trial against somebody who already had a question mark, but he's been troubled. All right. That worked well. Let's see if we can get Anatole. That'll be fun. All right. Anatole is letter I. Neither one really cares about this. They're not sure they're thrilled with Victor's age being raised here. But, you know, rather than revealing that they have more points on him, they're leaving it alone. And Anatole is under investigation. Well, that's all working pretty well. Let's take a look at some more. He doesn't want to do Natasha. He may want to stop here, not just because he has people in all these other locations, but because if he places someone else under investigation, that may actually cause additional issues here. All right, let me think about putting Alexei under. Yeah, we're going to try Alexei too. That's C. And this guy's not thrilled with that. Blue is not thrilled with C being under investigation. You know what? Here's the problem. If I indicate that I have a dispute with this, well, it's kind of becoming clear why. If I had jumped in early, at the very least, it wouldn't be clear who I'm protecting and who I'm not. But now it is. But I really don't want Alexei under there. So I'm going to look through my counters for a 2. And I'm going to mark that here. And I'm going to say, nah, you're not going to do that. Now, green can't up this, and Olive is not terribly interested in showing his own support at this point. Victor's a very interesting guy. You can throw your support in there just before he waves or something. So, what do we do next? Well, we are going to... Does Blue want to actually try to use some of these powers? And remember, I can condemn as well. I could condemn some of these folk. That doesn't seem worth it until somebody's revealed something on them. I think we're peaceful. We've had enough investigations here, no? All right. So Blue's happy with that. Now we move to health. And here comes kind of the annoying aspect of the game. We're going to have to look at each character's health, and we go in order through the politburo members only. We don't have to worry about all these guys. That's nice. But Nestor, he's 81 years old, so he'll be on this chart, and we have to worry basically if I roll higher than a 12. Or no, we don't have to worry if I roll higher than a 12. So I got a 6 at 81. It looks like I'm getting an extra plus marker. Okay. And now we go through the others, and each person usually rolls their own. We've got a 71 age here, and he's working. Ooh, a 2 is not good. That's going to be 2 more health markers. And here's the problem. I've got all these damn cards. So I should be looking before the die is rolled. I'm not going to worry about that. But who's good on I? Well, brown and black are interested in I. So I got to look at all these cards here. This is a bonus if he's in health. This is useful. And black, I think, was the other one. Can send someone to the sanatorium kind of immediately. Now that can be useful at this moment for a quick visit. If black was interested in getting someone who is sick healthy, that would help here. This is just problematic in playing this solitaire. You're sitting here with these very few cards. I probably should play without the cards. Yeah, they're just going to make my experience miserable. I'm throwing these cards out. I'm going to play with the advanced game without the cards because they are really going to tax my game too much. They don't add a whole hell of a lot to the game. They do add a little bit of interest and randomness, but they're just too much effort to play with. They also add this kind of bribery fashion mechanism to the play. I don't know what the hell I was trying to say there. It sure wasn't that. But again, I don't really want to do them solitaire. They're annoying. I don't mind the additional points solitaire though. Okay, so we're on Anatole. He's 68 years old, and he rolls a fairly high number, which says he's okay. Victor is only in his 50s, which puts him way down here on the charts, but he rolls a crappy ass 5. Now he's 52. He just survives this turn. Likewise, Natasha's fairly young at 55. Oleg at 62 is fair. That's a 14. Vasily at 56 rolls something unreadable, and 8. That's fine. And Alexei, ooh, yeah, nobody's in a bad place. Alexei rolls an 18 at C, at 74. Sorry. An 18 is going to make him healthy. In fact, he's close to healing had he been ill. All right. Nobody's in their bad position, so that wasn't a problem. Okay. Funeral commission, nobody's dead. Okay, the party chief gets to fill vacancies. That's not going to happen. There are none, but he is able to shift things around. Nobody's got the party chief right now. This may be the time to declare, because you're getting close to the parade. You want to have it on the parade. So, well, let's see who. Yellow is going to declare their point on Nestor. Well, now, does anybody want to go yet? That's a good question. I don't see any reason not to. With the cards out of play, there's very little effect to that. So, let us say Olive and Black got beat out here. But does Green want to play for this? That's the first thing. Green's going to withhold at this point. Hear what Nestor wants to do. So, Yellow has one bid. And he's looking at F, I, and Z in particular at this moment. F, I'm not interested in. I, I'm not interested in. And Z, not only am I not interested in, but I know somebody is. Okay. What would I like to do? Well, I want to make Anatole the defense minister. That kind of protects him, but he's bad at it. And he's still under investigation. He doesn't lose that. And I'm going to move Victor over to foreign minister. I have no free spots to demote and promote people with. I'm allowed to demote, right? The damn play there doesn't explain it nicely. Okay, promotions and demotions. Okay, actual promotions and demotions are one step, but first I get to rearrange my orders here. Now, who is it who has this green? And this is why this sucks solitaire, because I have to figure all this out from the spreadsheet. How does Green, who has more bids on this and could take it over, feel about I, F, and Z? Let's make sure. I, F. He's got a little bit of points in Z. Not sure how he really feels about it, but he knows he's beat out with Victor there. So he's not too unhappy about it. What he's seeing is Victor will probably rise up to a powerful position because somebody else will put him there. And the extra point is kind of I might be able to break a tie among people with 10. Basically, Victor and Nestor were kind of attractors for single point bids. With the, I could get a tiebreaker in there, which is why you have so many ones in Nestor. That's my thinking. Other people might be more clever and say, 2 would beat all those ones, wouldn't it? Well, not really, because each of those ones is a 0.1, so a single 2 might not help. All right, anyway, and Nestor's not well. He's probably not going to succeed in waving. Okay, so let's look at Victor here. Let's look at what we might want to do here. V, O, U, and C. This is yellow. I like C. I like O. I don't like V. Or U. Okay, what did I like again? O and C. Now, if I put people where they're healthy, that's almost an indication again that I've got points in them. Which two did I like? O and C. He's fine. He's fine, but I want to hit V and U. So these two guys can't be hurt. This guy can go into ideology. And as soon as I start declaring that, again, blue has to think, well, what about V, O, U, and C? I like C. I like V. Or I don't like V. I like O. Wow, I sound kind of like yellow here. V, O, U, and C. Yeah, see how much fun this is? It's just not a game to do. So I like C and O as well. So far I'm not seeing anything terrible here, am I? Who was getting put in? Somebody was getting screwed. I think it was Wassily, U. Yeah. So U is going here. And Natasha is being shifted there. That's his move there. I don't have any real disagreement with that. I'll let that happen. I don't want to reveal what I'm doing. All right. And this is for the guy who has a lot of points in Nestor. And is probably kind of unhappy with how sick Nestor got. That's one problem with taking Nestor is he's sick to begin with, and he's up there in age in a way that, you know, nobody else is anywhere near as high. Although poor Andre is in bad shape. Whoever has him, we got a 1-pointer on him, is not thrilled. All right, so now the next thing is yellow could decide to start helping and harming people by demoting them. He can demote candidates and promote candidates. Well, now we start taking everything into account. This is the painful part. Is there anybody here I like? B, I like. D, I like. R, S, W, I like. I'm probably not going to be able to get Bungaloff in there. He's very young, unless I really rework things. I don't think I want to do that. Although with my 1 point in Nestor, it might well be worth it. All right. The problem is it declares Leonid as being mine. And one of the things that you kind of think about in this game is, oh, maybe somebody else will put him up for me. So, am I going to try to machinate in that direction? Nah, I'm going to leave it as it is. Now, I think blue is willing to leave it as it is because he thinks he has a lot of points here. There's no one else who can be upgraded. Everybody else can't remove people from the ordering. All they can do is promote people ahead of their position. So we go to rehab, and any politburo person can pull people out of here for 5 SP, putting them into here. Well, nobody's in Siberia, so we're fine there. So now we go to the parade. We do not have a healthy party chief. We have an ill one. He goes up 2 more years to 83. And now the question is, how many points does blue want to reveal? Blue's just going to jump to 2. The danger in this is, of course, if somebody else has a 10, they can jump in there. But blue is the only person with any options here, so we don't have to worry too much about die rolling. Of course, he could have been very tense about this, trying to decide what does he want to do. And there can be a certain dexterity, rushing to place things, whatever type aspect to this game. That can be kind of troublesome here, because whoever does place first gets it in there first. And it gets kind of stupid when everybody's just rushing their hands in. That can be very annoying, but it doesn't happen very often. And if you have knives at the table, it can be kind of fun. No, I don't want to talk about that. All right, so now I have to roll greater than or equal to a 14. Now cards would affect this. Again, I really don't want to play the game looking at all the cards all the time. They add something to it in the multiplayer game, but they just make the solo game too annoying. I do not get a 14 or more, so we put a little cross here to indicate Nestor was not feeling very well. That's the end of the first turn. We should probably track the turn. Well, we got the turns tracked there. The reason for that is, well, we got these add influence markers, and those work out well there. All right, I'm going to load this one up. It's not a terribly long video. Probably the rest of the game will be done on longer pieces, but I think it gives most of the play of the game. The only thing, again, the cards being left out does change things. But for my smoothness, happiness, and peace of mind, I think leaving them out is the right thing to do. They are a fairly minor factor in